So I want to thank everybody for joining our presentation on how to create custom tabs. So once again, tabs mean, within Excel, you have here like home, insert, and so forth. So we're going to create the same thing, customizable names, functions, and things like that. So we're just going to kind of walk through that. Before we get started, what I'll need you to do is you'll need to install what's called Custom UI Editor. The link for that can be found in the description as well as the Patreon page. So once you have it installed, we're going to be working on, which can also be installed, accumulated depreciation followed by demo 5. Okay. So you want to have that downloaded as well. And you also want to have downloaded another workbook called idMSO, which should be very helpful when navigating certain names. So as soon as you have those three downloaded and the program installed, we'll begin. So just a side note, basically you can only have the spreadsheet open on one program or the other. So you can't have it open, you either have to have it open on Custom UI Editor or Excel. Otherwise, the program will not save. Okay? So I don't have the program open right now. I do have idMSO open. So I'm going to open up the accumulated depreciation 5.11.0 demo 5. Okay. So we start out with an XML. So you have a head tag and the last tag. Okay. So we start out with custom UI. Within that, you'll need ribbon. So I'm going to put in the head tag and the bottom tag. Then we'll need tabs. Okay. And then finally, so the label tab is basically what's going to be displayed. Just as home is displayed, insert is displayed, draw is displayed, we're going to specify what our custom name is going to be displayed on our screen. Okay. ID is basically saying, well, how are you going to identify it? Okay. So for identifiers, it cannot start with a number. It cannot start with a space. It has to start with a letter or underscore. So it could be like my tab. Okay. Insert after MSO or before MSO. Well, it has to have one of these values. Basically, it's indicating where are we going to put this tab. It's going to go right before the home or after the home, before the data, after the review. You're specifying where this is going to go. This is why the idMSO is going to be very, very useful. Okay, as we're going to go through in a minute. So, the first exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to insert this particular tab called accumulated depreciation. Okay, so the label is going to be accumulated depreciation. The ID is going to be tab accumulated depreciation and so forth. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, if you want to stop the video, I want you to try this out yourself. After you try this out yourself, basically resume the video and we'll go over what should be displayed on the screen. Alright, so we're going to go over this in so let's talk about what's going where. Okay, so the label is going to indicate accumulated depreciation. Okay. The ID is going to be tab accumulated depreciation. Okay. Once again, doesn't start with a letter, doesn't start with a number. It's just a simple letter, or it could be underscore. Doesn't matter, but it has to start with one of those two characters, and there's no spaces that are within the identifier. Okay, because we don't need that, but we are going to need insert before MSO, and we're going to need this idMSO. So, thank you. All right. So let's use a spreadsheet. The control type basically is indicating what type of item we're looking for. And you're looking at it, it's like, well, you got a lot of options, you know. So we can insert a lot of things like buttons and things like that. We're going to go over this in another lecture. But for right now, I'm going to go into the filter drop down right here. Okay. I can go for a search. And since we're dealing with tabs, I'm going to type in tab. And we have a list of tabs. Now, you must be guessing, but we need to go right here to idMSO. Okay. And we're going to do a search for home. And there's the identifier that we're looking for. Okay. So we're going to put in tab home. Right inside the insert before MSO. All right. Let's test this out, see how it looks. So we're going to save it. And I'm going to close out. And I'm going to open this up. And voila. Here's our new tab, Accumulated Depreciation. So, in our next demonstration, we're going to insert another tab. In this case, it's going to be called General tab. Okay? All right. So, here are the specifications. And I'm going to give you some time to practice this. So, if you want to pause this video and then resume it, and then we can kind of go over it. All right. So, we're going to create another tab. So we got a start tab, an end tab, or start tag and an end tag, right? So the ID, okay, has to start with an ID, will be tab General. Okay. Label is going to be General. So we got the tab. That's fine. But we're not really looking for the home tab. So we're going to go down to the filter, drop down for MS or idMSO. We're going to clear the filter. Okay. Then we're going to go right back into it. And I'm just going to type in data. And we got tab data. Awesome. Okay. So we got the accumulated depreciation. Doesn't have anything in it. Okay. And then after data, we have general tab. Again, doesn't have anything in it, but we know we're in good shape. All right. All right. Welcome back. So our next exercise, we're going to look at what are groups. So groups are basically, you have a clump of functions that make up a group. So within this group, clipboard, we have paste, cut, and so forth. Font, we have all these functions. We have all these alignments, and so forth. Okay? So they're all grouped together with a label, with specific functions, a particular image. Okay? They have their own labels as well. And when you click them, they perform certain functions. And these are the common ones that are common to Excel. But in addition to that, you can create your own custom ones, which we'll go over in a later time. For right now, we're going to insert the already established functions so that we just have a better idea. Okay? So what this exercise is going to kind of show you, using your idMSO spreadsheet, we want to insert these groups. Okay? So we're going to insert a group for font, we're going to insert a group for number, we're going to insert a group for alignment, cell, and so forth. Okay? So I want you to kind of practice this, and then I'm going to kind of give you a good idea, and then we're going to kind of go over and see how you did. Okay? So once again, take some time to pause this video and then resume it, and then we'll go. All right. So let's discuss the first group. It's going to be fonts, right? So we start out with the group tag. This time there's not going to be an end tag. Normally with group there is, but that's only if you're creating custom groups. Okay? Well, we are creating custom groups, but groups where in which we have basically custom programs, so macros. We're not going to discuss that today, but we are going to discuss how to insert already established groups. Okay? So we start out with group, and then we put in the attribute idMSO, and then this is your end tag. Okay? So the first one we're looking for is font. So in this case, we're going to change our filter for the control type to be group. Interesting. Let me do this. I'm going to clear out the filters on both fields, and we're going to go with group. Thank you. And I know I see it there. I see group font, but again, just for repetition, we're just looking for font. And right there it says group font. So I saved it. I'm going to open it so I can see how it looks now. Voila. Font, number, alignment, cell, sort and filter. I don't know why they did that. And define names. And then there's your macros. Okay.